on, guys? Cole GZ, new release preview again. Friday, April 17th, 4 p.m. Eastern and 10 a.m. Hawaii time. Okay, this week, new Bonze lures. We have a few more Coggins. And then we have some new Moyes lures. We have our first batch of Amarol lures as well. We have a new Amarol stock that's in. And then some Marlin Magics. We had a big Marlin Magic batch that came in. So we have some Marlin Magics. And then a bunch of new tackle products. And we'll go over all that here in a bit. So I suppose today, let's just get started on everything. We have over in the corner here, we're going to get started with Bonze lures. This is the Ballistic. So some of these, you see a lot of the ones that we are bringing in are they call the Signature Series, which is with the power shell, but then we do have a few custom ones that are coming in each shape. So we just don't get as many of the customs as we did before, so it's about half and half. So that's the Ballistic, which is basically a 12-inch size lure, uses a 602 skirt size. And below that we have the Jackhammer, which is the size down from the Violator. So if you're like a Violator shape, but you want kind of a smaller version, that Jackhammer is perfect for billfish. And then below that, we have the ATM, which is a bit more of a rounded scoop face lure. That's been a pretty popular one since we started bringing those in. One of his newer shapes in the last couple years. And below that, we have the Islander, which is a 12-inch cup face lure. Those are pretty popular. It's a large cup face. We're big fans of cup face lures because of their ease of use and that they work great in all conditions. So it's a great rigger bait. We have a few more cup face Bonze lures up here. This is the Viper, another 12-inch cup face, a little bit more flatter taper, so not as much taper to it. Below that is the Apache, which is almost similar. It's a slanted nose version. It kind of looks like a Violator, but it's a slanted nose version. That's more of a 10-inch size right there. We have a few with some scratches on there, so they're just kind of down on the ones that have scratches. We had a couple boo-boos, but there's nothing wrong except for some surface scratches there. Next below that, we have Trojans, which is a lot like the Pakula, the Roach, similar to that kind of shape. And that's actually similar. It's a smaller version of the Islander, so 10-inch size. Those are very, very popular. Purples, turquoise. That one with the blue drip came out really nice with that kind of turquoise-ish ice blue head. And then, and then below that, we haven't had new DLBs in a while, so this is our DLB batch. We did some in Flashaboo or strobes. And then that's it for Bonze lures this week. We do have a lot more to push out. We got a very big restock in, so we have a lot more Bonze lures coming, so kind of stay tuned for that. All right, then this week the only Coggin shape we did that's the Tado Kilauea scoop and invert. And if you aren't really familiar with kind of the Tado shapes and why the names are, so I've gotten a little bit more familiar with it since I've been working with Chris, because I'm in Kona more. But so on the Big Island, they have three main. Well, I might be saying this 100% correct. I think there's only three main volcanoes, but it's Kilauea, the Mauna Loa, and I think the Kilauea is one of them too, or the Hualalai, I think. But that's a volcano. So that is where those come from, if you are not aware. So again, that's the Tado Kilauea, which is the 9-inch size of the Tado shape, scoops and inverts. Moyes lures this week. Two of our most popular shapes and sizes. This is the medium J-Boy and medium Plunger. A lot of different colors, a lot of dark colors in this batch. But these have been two of our most productive and our best-selling Moyes lures. That medium J-Boy has been our number one since we started carrying them. I think except for last year. Last year we sold I think it was the Ono bullets with hair that beat him out. But that was the first year that the medium J boy was not our #1 seller of Moyes. So those are great lures. Medium plunger, we've had a lot of guys with success there in like Mexico area especially. But that's a great like medium-sized 12-inch plunger for billfish. I mean, pretty much any location. So that's a great size of lure. They're very well balanced. They run well. So yeah, we've had a lot of really good feedback on those 2 lures. Marlin Magic lures. We're doing kind of the blue series. This week we have the big blues, which is the big 12-inch version. Below that, this is Teardrop APs. We have the set of pinkies, white over pink and pink over white there. So that's the non-jetted version. I think we did the jetted version last week. If we didn't, they're coming out very soon. But I think it was last week. Below that, we have the small plunger and Mahi, just a Mahi series of those. And then we have the tiny blue. Skirted versions will be up, I believe, next week. But here's the head-only options. We needed a restock of those because we were out. Same thing below that with the jumbo AP teardrop jets. That has been one of our hottest selling new lures. Marlin Parker and those guys have been catching a ton of fish in that over the last couple of years. And so those have become very much in demand. And so we just pushed out head only just to kind of get started. But we will have skirted versions up next week on both of those shapes. And then we'll get into the Amarol lures and we'll go over the tackle. So Amarol lures, basically we did the cup series version, which is the Jararaca. So that first one, the larger one, is called the Super Jararaca, which is more of a 14-inch size or 14-inch length. And then below that is a brand new one called the Urutu, which is a 7-inch version of that. Before that, the smallest version was the baby, which that one's a little bit larger than the baby, and the babies are right next to it, but it just had supers, regular Jararaca, and then the babies. But now there's the Urutu. It's a little bit different head design. They're kind of more round, but on the babies, we have a pretty large stash of those. And then the 12-inch Jararaca, which is probably the most, not probably, it is the most popular version. And I think as far as top selling lures go from Amarol, this is #1 or #2 for us. So, and he's since we don't talk about him a lot because we don't get a lot of stock in from him, he is out of Brazil, and that's where they're all handmade. And he does his own style of skirting with these. A lot of guys really like this kind of stuff. These are called hula skirts, not hula skirts. So they're kind of similar to like the old style skirts. Like I think they're the ones that Sea Tall and some of those other companies you were called Trawlite. So they're just a lot more like thinner strands. These are actually not individually necessarily, but like these strips are glued on. So these are glued on versus tied on. So they're pretty. They don't weigh a lot, so if they're nice as far as like a heaviness goes. Sometimes with rubber skirts, especially if you're doing calmer waters, the thickness and the weight on the skirt we don't really like as much. So that's why a lot of guys use vinyl, for example, like in Kona. But these are pretty lightweight. We used to carry the skirts. We don't anymore because they're made in Brazil and they're very difficult to get. But anyway, that's a little bit more information about Amarol. New tackle. I've been telling you guys we're going to bring in a bunch of new tackle. This week we released some new products from AFW, which is copper rigging wire and also the bait springs for rigging baits. We sell the bait springs in 10 packs, and also if you want to buy them in bulk, we'll sell them in 100 packs. So those two options are available. And then the copper rigging wire, there's a few options available there. We didn't get in the red coated stuff. I need to get that in yet. But we do kind of moving on, I guess. And ringer swivels now. We're starting to carry ringer swivels in all sizes, but they have their pre-rigged swivels with the rigging wire, and they have the red copper coated stuff. So these come in, I think this is 250 packs. and that's the size 1. And we also carry a size 2 as well. So you have the regular copper and then the red coated. And then of course the ringer swivels, if you're familiar with them, they come in sizes 1 through 5 on the website. It kind of gives you some information as to which size they might recommend for what applications. So check that out. But ringer swivels are pretty excited to carry those in. So a lot more stuff for our bait rigging supplies, I should say. And then on that note as well, circle hooks. We've been needing to get circle hooks in for quite some time. The only style we carried was Fudo's, the Gordo HD hooks, which are more of like a very heavy tackle Marlin style circle hook. So now we've basically got 4 styles of hooks in. We got the Monster Circles, which is your kind of premier Marlin bluefin tuna circle hook right there. And we got that in essentially, I think, all sizes. Okay. We also got in on the Monster Circles. We got the ones that are the drifting specials. I think the 6/0, 8/0, and 10/0 are the sizes that they offer. So those are available. And then we have Haku live bait, which is more of a J hook, but we have those hooks. We have the competition circles. Okay. So those are available. And lastly, the inline heavy circles. So a lot more offering as far as circle hooks goes. That was something that we've been lacking and a lot of guys been asking for. So we have those available. We're focusing on BKK right now. Haven't brought in Mustad or any of those other ones, but BKK has some really nice hook offerings. And so we're going to roll with them for a while. So if you have any questions or you need sizes or different styles of hooks that you don't see from BKK, you know, we definitely consider bringing them in. Just hit us up and ask. So we're trying to focus more on kind of what fits our market, as far as hook sizes go and that kind of stuff and the styles. So that's what we brought in so far. But yeah, we're going to continue to add new products. I know like Islanders, for example, just came in. Those will be up in the next 1 to 2 weeks. So we're carrying Island lures. And I think there's a couple other things too. So yeah, hopefully, I know some of you guys have been just starting getting your season going and getting all your preseason tackle stuff ordered. But hopefully we caught most of you who might be interested in getting some of those hooks. And again, feel free to ask questions if you have any questions on anything. We'd be happy to help. So that's what I got this week. Appreciate your time and all the support. We've been really, really busy. So we're very grateful for that. We're grateful for you guys. So, all right. Have a good rest of your week. Appreciate it.